besties, the first question in almost all healthcare interview is tell me about yourself. And my loves, you cannot be rambling. If you nail this interview question well, you've given yourself a huge pass mark because it makes your interviewer know that this person knows what they are doing. After this video, you would never stutter when they ask you to tell them about yourself. You will not be talking about your family or talking about random things that have nothing to do with the job. I will give you a formula, my own formula. It is called PARR. PARR. Say it. PARR. When you hear tell me about yourself, just think of PARR. What is PARR? P for professional summary, A for achievement, R for relevant skills, R for reason for applying. Full stop. If you nail the PARR method, you've nailed that tell me about yourself question. Now, of course, when they ask you, it's not like you'll be thinking a PARR. No, my loves. As you are answering the question, in your head, you are already going, okay, P done, A done, R done, R done. And you can even rehearse this before a job interview. If you know that one question is actually certified, the first question, tell me about yourself. The last question, do you have any question for me? Those two questions in a lot of interviews, they are signed, sealed, and delivered. It will come out, they will ask you. So why not just research, like ensure that you have that paragraph ready for them. Now let's break it all down. P, professional summary. Remember, I said professional summary. Professional summary of your life, telling them who you are, what you're passionate about, what you've done. Now, yes, they have your CV. Now, eloquently articulate those your experiences. So, in this video, let's pretend that I'm applying for a support work job in a mental health home. This is my answer. My name is Adathelegalpepper and I've been in the healthcare industry for 3 years working with individuals with mental health difficulties. I've worked in residential homes as well as mental health trusts to support people with enduring mental health difficulties such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, acute depression, amongst others. My passion for helping individuals with mental health difficulties and making a positive difference in their lives is what has driven me to pursue a career in this field. Now, I'm not done, oh. That is just P. But you can see that that is solid already. Well, we're not done yet, too. Remember, the goal is not just to give one answer and maybe you get the job or no. The goal is you would know that you will get the job. Then it's now up to you to decide if maybe the job fits, because of course not every job fits. So that's P, professional summary. Let's go to A, your achievement. Say something notable that you've achieved that is relevant to the role you are applying into. By the way, we are talking about healthcare, but even if your job is not in the healthcare industry, this formula still applies. So for me, achievement. One of my proudest moments was when I supported an individual that had acute depression and felt isolated from society into building support networks that made him feel connected back to the society, such that the individual that felt isolated and could not even be in the community felt empowered enough to feel less isolated and regain a sense of community. Now, that's just a very simple example. Don't overthink this. Anything that you consider an achievement is an achievement. Yours could be being able to encourage someone that previously had issues with their hygiene or keeping their apartment safe and habitable. Then you being able to be that influence to encourage them to do that. Or yours could be you working alongside other professionals to promote someone's independence and autonomy. Anything you've done, you can use as an achievement. Oh yeah, start thinking. Hey besties, I'm currently editing and I forgot to include something very important. Please and please, whilst you're giving the examples, do not forget the principle of confidentiality, which literally means that whatever example you are giving, don't go and disclose identifiable information. For instance, you're giving an example of something you've done or whatever. Don't go and say, I had this client, John. Don't go and mention the names of the clients you've worked with. Even though you've worked with them in the past, if you mention their names in an interview setting, that is an automatic cancel. So you can say your examples like, there was this client I supported that had dementia. You are saying the story, but you're not saying the client's name was Mrs. Sarah. Do you get? And even if you need to mention something, let it be clear that you've anonymize the information. So it could be like a pseudonym you are giving. But for me, I don't even bother with pseudonyms. I just say I had this client that had this, had that, and that's how I give my examples. This is a very important point, especially if you are in the healthcare industry. Remember confidentiality. All right, besties, let's get right back into the video. Let's even assume that you don't even have an experience. By the way, if you do not have an experience, I have made a video specially for you. Even if you don't have experience, I've said it before and I'll keep saying it on this channel. If you are African, you have healthcare experience. There is no way. You live in the community. There is absolutely no way. So even with that, you can talk about your informal care experience. That counts as an achievement. Are we understanding? Yeah, I can hear you saying yes. So now we've talked about professional summary, we've talked about achievement. Moving on, let's talk about relevant skills. Now we need to be very strategic in this one. Remember that for that job, there was a job description. And in that job description, the skills they need you to have, it will be there. So now when talking about your skills, see, we are going to relate it back to the job. Remember, even in your professional summary and in your achievement, everything has to link up with that job. For instance, let's say you are looking for a job in a dementia ward. Everything you say should link up. A lot of people don't know how to link up their experiences to their jobs. Sometimes you may not even have done that particular job, but I can tell you, if you can dig deep, you have that experience. That experience you think you don't have, you have it, my loves. You do. You are the one that is minimizing your experiences. Anyway, whatever skills that they need, those are the skills you should have. If, for instance, in the job they are saying for skills you need to be a good communicator and active listener. When I'm talking about my skills, what will I mention? That one. See, one good thing about this tell me about yourself formula is that you would be able to sell yourself in a comprehensive way that your interviewer is already impressed. See, first impression really matters. Oh. Once the interviewer is impressed with you, they want you. And as such, if down the line you start making mistakes, I'm telling you, they will help you. You may not believe me. If you've experienced what I'm saying, let us know in the comment section. They will help you. But when you start in a very shaky way, so for me, I'll say something like, I have developed strong communication skills through daily interaction with clients and their families. I've also been well trained in manual handling and first aid, and I've been commended for my attention to details when administering medications or keeping care logs accurate. Now, this is me assuming that in that job description, they say they want a good communicator, someone that is attentive to details, someone that is good with medications, someone that is good with accurate record keeping, someone that is good with manual handling and first aid. See the way I've just used style to push everything in. And I know you are wondering, geez, for just one question, we are not done. The final thing is the R, which is reason for applying. There are some interviews where they would actually ask you, why are you applying for this job, and some they don't. So in this reason for applying, I would advise to just make it short, just in case they would ask you, so that if they ask you again, you would now build upon it. So you can just make this like 2 lines, saying something like, remember, you've said your summary, you've said your achievements, you've said your skills, just tie it up. And this reason for applying, usually a very basic response. I'm really excited to work in your organization because of your, see, values and your own skills. That's it. When answering a question about reason for applying, focus on their values and your own skills. And you've answered the question. Something like, I'm excited to apply for this role because of your organization's values of diversity, openness, and transparency. And I believe that your company's values align well with my personal values and my skills. And that's it. But do you know that you can't answer this reason for applying if you've not made your research? Because you have to know their values. Let's assume their values are diversity, openness, or whatever I said. Those are the things you will just use. There is no way you would answer like that they would not know that this person has sense. They would know you have sense. Now, it's if the other part now becomes too shaky, then but this is comprehensive. This power method. See, besties, I do not want you rambling on. I had a one-on-one session with someone, and tell me about yourself. I was asking her because the way I do my one-on-one sessions, when you have an interview, I would ask you some questions, me pretending to be your interviewer. Then when you are done answering the questions, I would give my feedback. By the way, if you want to book this service, click the link in the description box for that. So for this session with this person, I was asking her, tell me about yourself. And she was talking about, oh, she has two children, she has this, she has that. And I told her, that's not relevant. When I tell you something is not relevant, if you like, argue. Me, I don't do argument. If you argue, I'll just say, okay, no problem. And you will go and see what you are looking for. Because, see, sometimes we are the ones that actually make it difficult for us to even get those jobs. Don't say unnecessary things. What is their business with you having children? Like, what's their business? There's some companies that are even discriminatory. They won't tell you that discriminating against you. They will not tell you because obviously everybody will tell you, equality and diversity. But it's a lie. I know someone that when she was pregnant and she goes for a job interview, guess what? No job. And I know you will say, maybe she was not good. It's a lie, she was good. Do you know how she finally got a job? By asking for online interview. That's why they're not seeing that she's pregnant. In law, it's discrimination and you're not supposed to be discriminated against. But in reality, they do it. So some cho, they're not necessary. Now, you can say something about your hobbies in this tell me about yourself question. But most likely, if you want to do that, do it at the ending. After you've mentioned your reason for applying, you can now say, in my spare time, because remember the question is tell me about yourself. In my spare time, I practice mindfulness, I relax by doing yoga or being in the gym. Now, for me, I would not even include that because you've with this power method you've answered it. But if you want to just add extra, you can talk about in your spare time, but that should be the last thing to say because it could be good for you because that shows them that okay, you have self-care practices, but the most important thing is that power method. My loves, I feel so excited to have released this video for you, and I hope you are equally as excited. Remember, this is week 2 of our 15 weeks challenge of me telling you a lot of things so that you can get that healthcare job. If you've not watched week 1, which was last week, go and watch. And I'm going to be linking up similar videos such as this. If there is any aspect or anything you want me to actually talk a lot on, let me know in the comment section and I would consider it. And until next time, my loves, stay blessed, remain happy, and